Resources. I'd like to welcome you all to this morning's proceedings for the Buang Vision Sharing Breakfast Meeting for our Vice Chancellor. I'll be directing the ceremony, the proceedings of the ceremony, and without further ado, I'd like to call upon Ms. Isabella Magetse to give us an opening prayer. Mind you, this is our culture as an institution. We often pray before we start our meetings.
Good morning. Let us pray. Father, we come before your throne with thankful hearts for we have seen this morning. It's not by our might, but because you want us to continue with your work. And as we gather this morning, we ask for open hearts. We ask that we are all aligned to bring our country forward. We ask for your guidance and wisdom in all our deliberations this morning. We ask all this in Christ's name. Amen.
Thank you, Mama Khetse, for that wonderful prayer. In order to continue, housekeeping rules, could we kindly ensure that our phones are on mute? And also, we have our ushers right by the doors there who will assist in case you need directions to the restrooms. Okay, we can go ahead and proceed. I would like to call upon Professor Madibela, who is our Acting Deputy Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs and Research, to come and give us welcome remarks and the purpose of this engagement. Professor Madibela.
Good morning, everyone. As it had already been introduced, my name is Madibela, Acting Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic Affairs and Research. So we are happy to have you this morning. Look at the Permanent Secretary to the President, the Permanent Secretary to the Ministry of Education and Skills Development, Permanent Secretary to the Ministry of Agriculture, the Permanent Secretary to the Ministry of Environment and Tourism, Permanent Secretary to the Ministry of Lands and Water Affairs, Permanent Secretary to the Ministry of Communication, Knowledge and Technology, our Vice Chancellor of Buang, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Finance and Administration, Deans of Faculties of Buang and the Directors here present, representatives of international organizations, chief executives of state-owned entities, and also our chief executive of private sector organization. And also we want to welcome chief directors of non-governmental organization here present. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome you to this event organized by Buang with the sole purpose of introducing our second Vice Chancellor, Professor Ketlhatlogile Mosepele, but also to share with you the university vision of 2022 to 2027. We really appreciate that you saw it fit to be with us this morning, leaving your other important task and accompanying us this morning. The reason why we invited you here is because we view you as very important stakeholders and in this journey of creating a knowledge-based society in agriculture, and also because of what the government have assigned us, the mandate of training in agriculture and natural resources. So the university rebranded in 2020, and you remember that was at the height of the COVID. Therefore, we are not able to bring the brand, the new Buam brand to you partners and also to the public. Therefore, that's why we decided to take this opportunity this morning to share the brand of Buang so that you can appreciate it, you can understand where we are coming from, especially where we are going, and understand the strong message behind Buang. Therefore, without wasting much of your time, I would like to welcome you here at Buang and ask you to listen to our Vice Chancellor's route map message, and you are free to indulge in. I want to more telling, so feel free to indulge as much as possible, and even as we deliberate today and as we move into the future. Thank you very much.
It took patience, focus, and time. We had to get it just right, and we did. We looked to the land that has always supported us, the livestock that has always multiplied in abundance to our delight. We looked to the sky for inspiration and grew strength from the sun, a source of life and nourishment. We immediately knew what needed to be done. The country needed us. The people needed us. We had to plow the fields, grow the plants, extract the resources from the ground, give care to our animals in order to sustain the nation's needs. Driven by our ways of old while adopting new ways along the way, embracing technology and all its uses, the sky is no longer our limit, but our next giant step. This is what it takes. This is who we are. The land that is our resource, the fields that we plow, the continuous progress we have made in our field, gaining great strength from the source of life and nourishment. We are Buang.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'd just like to quickly elaborate. I know it's not quite clear for all of you to see, but I would just like to give a brief elaboration on what the brand represents. The yellow is actually the ecosystem, which is our reliable source of energy, and the light brown is the resources, which represents the natural resources. The dark brown is representation of livestock and land, which is our source of pride. And then the green represents the vegetation, which is the source of life and nourishment. Thank you. And with the video having been represented, I'd like to now call upon our Vice Chancellor, Professor Ketlhatlogile Mosepele, to come and give us a vision of Buang and his roadmap.
Thank you very much, Master of Ceremonies. Well, I guess I'm old school. I'm using printed talking notes, and Prof. Madibela is very techno-savvy. He decided to do it from his laptop. But anyway, it is what it is. All permanent secretaries here present, representatives of international organizations, all chief executives here present, colleagues from Buang, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Let me take this opportunity to welcome you all to this breakfast meeting, whose purpose is to share our vision at the Botswana University of Agriculture and Natural Resources on how we can collaborate with you as stakeholders in the agriculture and natural resources sector to collectively contribute to national, regional, and international development goals and agendas, and to serve our mutual interests. You've been invited to this event as leaders of the public and private sector, civil society, and international development agencies as an engagement to explore future areas of collaboration amongst us. Although we, as institutions, have specific and differing mandates, I believe that our common goal is to promote the achievement of national, regional, and international development goals. Given this common interests, there's a great potential for us to explore areas where we could complement and enhance each other to achieve our individual and collective goals and agendas for mutual gain. Today's meeting is only introductory in nature and is intended to serve as a prelude to more focused bilateral meetings between my institution and yours to explore specific areas of collaboration. Before proposing what I envisage as potential areas of collaboration between Buang and your respective institutions, allow me to take this moment to give you a background on Buang as well as a brief overview of our strategic plan. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, our university was established on the 1st of February 2016 through an Act of Parliament of 2015. It came into existence through the transformation of the then Botswana College of Agriculture, which was then a faculty of agriculture of the University of Botswana. However, Buang's origins can be traced as far back as 1967, when it operated as the Botswana Agricultural College. The birthplace of the then Botswana Agricultural College was Mahalape, which incidentally is my home village. I'm not saying anything really, but I and Buang have a lot in common. That's all I'm going to say. Throughout its history, this institution has played a pivotal role in supplying a workforce for the agricultural sector through training at certificate, diploma, and bachelor's degree levels. It has also played a pivotal role in providing short courses to various stakeholders, particularly the farming community. As a transformed institution, Buang now operates through 6 faculties that drive its academic and research programs. The Faculty of Agribusiness, Education and Extension, the Faculty of Agriculture, the Faculty of Animal and Veterinary Sciences, Faculty of Natural Resources, Faculty of Science, Faculty of Research and Graduate Studies. In total, Buang operates through 11 academic departments, offering 4 diploma, 11 BSc degree, 4 MSc degree, and 2 PhD programs. We are, however, on an expansion phase and are currently developing demand-driven programs in various fields within agriculture and natural resources, including at master's degree and PhD levels. We also offer demand-driven short professional courses through our Center for In-Service and Continuing Education at the main campus in Mosepele, and also at our satellite campus at the Meat Industry Training Institute in Lowats. As an expansion of our reach, we have also started to offer short courses through our collaborating institutions in Francistown and Maun. Distinguished guests, our activities at Buang are guided by the strategic plan for 2022-27, whose vision is to transform Buang into an innovative and research-intensive university in agriculture and natural resources. This strategy constitutes a bold and ambitious plan for ensuring that the university plays a pivotal role in the development of agriculture and natural resources sectors in Botswana. Our vision is to produce innovative graduates and technological solutions for sustainable development in agriculture and natural resources sectors. Delivering on this mission will enhance our contribution to the SADC Common Agenda on promoting sustainable and equitable economic growth and socio-economic development in the region. It will also enhance our ability to contribute to sustainable growth in agriculture and natural resources sectors and overall socio-economic development in Botswana and the SADC region. Our strategy is aligned to key regional and international development strategies and agendas, including, among others, the Africa Union's Agenda 2063, the Malabo Declaration of 2014, the Comprehensive Africa Agriculture Development Program, SADC's Regional Indicative Strategic Plan, the Regional Agricultural Policy, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Nationally, we are aligned to Botswana's Vision 2036, which aims to transform Botswana into a high-income country by 2036. Our strategic initiatives in the next 5 years will be squarely aligned to the country's vision pillars of sustainable economic development, human and social development, and sustainable environment. Our operations will also be consistent with various national strategies, development plans, and agendas intended to actualize the aspirations of the national vision. These include the Reset Agenda, National Development Plans, National Agricultural Investment Plan, Annual Performance Plans for the Ministry of Agriculture, Sustainable Tourism and Biodiversity Conservation, the agro-tourism component in the new Integrated Land Policy. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the Buang Strategic Plan is operationalized through 4 strategic areas: research intensification, academic excellence, entrepreneurship drive, and agile operations. To become a research-intensive university, we will, among others, embark on establishing state-of-the-art research facilities, generating new solutions for agriculture and natural resources, conducting impactful research on products and services, and attracting external research funding. Of relevance to you, distinguished guests, is that we have to increase collaboration with both internal and external partners to ensure success in promoting research intensification. One of the key initiatives for promoting research intensification will be the establishment and resourcing of 2 research centers, the Center for Bioeconomy and the Center for Sustainable Resources. As outlined in our strategic plan, the Center for Bioeconomy will serve as a major platform for conducting research and development activities, from primary food production through food and feed processing to the development of high-value products such as vaccines, drugs, and products for the modern, sustainable, and circular economy of the future. Therefore, this center will facilitate research on livestock, crop, and technology improvement, agro-processing, biofuels, resource recycling, and environmental monitoring and management, and will cover other cross-cutting issues such as agribusiness, climate science, and public policy. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, environmental degradation and loss of biodiversity are some of the greatest challenges facing the world today. To contribute towards addressing these challenges, the Center for Sustainable Resources will focus on research and development initiatives on soil, water, energy, climate change, and ecosystems management. To achieve academic excellence, we will develop and deliver academic programs and courses that meet industry needs. Similarly, we will revise existing programs to make them relevant to contemporary issues. As another strategy to achieve academic excellence, we will establish 2 schools, the School of Veterinary Medicine and the School of Hospitality and Tourism. The School of Veterinary Medicine will be developed by expanding academic offerings in the Department of Veterinary Sciences to provide training up to PhD. The development of this school will be undertaken through partnerships with key strategic partners locally, regionally, and internationally. The establishment of the School of Hospitality and Tourism is a recognition of the convergence of natural resources management, tourism, and agriculture. We believe that agriculture and tourism are important economic activities for the development of this country. Therefore, it falls within our mandate to devise research and develop academic programs to ensure that they coexist. Ladies and gentlemen, it must be noted that expanding our academic offerings at master's and PhD degree levels will also promote research intensification and contribute to the socio-economic development of Botswana. Therefore, the strategic areas of research intensification and academic excellence are intertwined and will reinforce each other in helping Buang to attain its strategic plan goal and objectives. Distinguished guests, at Buang we view agriculture and natural resources as businesses. In this regard, our 3rd strategic area of entrepreneurial drive is intended to promote business development at Buang. We have embarked on a drive to commercialize our operations through Buang Enterprises, a wholly owned Buang company. Buang Enterprises has adopted a public-private partnership model to accelerate its growth. Through this model, the private sector is and will be engaged to pursue investments aimed primarily at revenue generation for the university. Hitherto, this has resulted in 3 main projects. We have a sizable dairy project, which is located at our Notwane farm. We have an agrivoltaic plant, the largest of its kind in Africa, which is located at the frontage of the university's main campus. And we are also establishing a sewage water purification plant, which will be located at our Notwane farm. Our Mosepele campus occupies a land area of over 700 hectares. We are currently developing a master plan to guide future developments on this land. The aim is to generate income for the university and to reduce our dependence on limited public funding, which of course is constrained by competing priorities within the public sector. Such commercial projects will require partnerships with the private sector and will be housed in the Buang Enterprises Company. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Buang is also operating a 3-year entrepreneurship incubation program in which participants run different agriculture startups. The main aim of this program is to create entrepreneurs who will be able to run sustainable businesses outside the university. Most importantly, the program provides mentorship and short-term training to the incubates in partnership with our stakeholders in government and industry. We are also currently developing a tailor-made program for the youth who did not do well in their Form 3 and Form 5 examinations and have low prospects of progression in formal education through tertiary institutions. We believe that this will not only address youth unemployment in the short term, but will also create a skilled human resource base in agriculture and natural resources whose impact will be more significant in the long term. Distinguished guests, allow me now to highlight possible areas of collaboration between my institution and yourselves. These will serve as examples and are by no means exhaustive. We are aware that to not only achieve our key strategic objectives, but also research intensification and academic excellence, we need to collaborate with various institutions. Such collaboration can come in many forms, depending on what our common areas of interest are. With respect to our sister public institutions, such as the University of Botswana and the Botswana International University of Science and Technology, collaboration may be in the form of sharing resources. This will allow us to expand our research activities and optimize their impact on the national economy. Collaboration may be in the form of joint development of research programs, staff and student exchange, joint national conferences on issues of national significance, joint supervision of graduate students, joint research publications, even development of joint degree programs, to name but a few. A similar model can be adopted for collaboration between Buang and research-oriented public institutions, such as NADI, BITRI, BBI. There is great potential here to collaborate on research and development activities related to agriculture and natural resources and technology, among others. Such collaboration will also maximize the impact of our research for the benefit of Botswana and indeed the region. There is also great potential to collaborate with civil society and international development agencies to pursue development issues of mutual interest. One of the potential areas for collaboration is on the establishment of research and outreach programs for addressing issues related to environment, climate change, and biodiversity conservation. Given that Botswana is endowed with some natural resources, such as wildlife, but simultaneously faces scarcity of others, such as water, the importance of sustainable utilization and management of such resources cannot be overemphasized. There's great potential, therefore, for Buang to collaborate with civil society and international development agencies in these areas, as well as public institutions mandated to oversee the utilization and management of these resources. Ladies and gentlemen, Buang's collaboration with civil society and international development agencies may also be on projects that promote the achievement of SDGs. As you may be aware, the agriculture and natural resources sectors are pivotal to the achievement of some of these SDGs, particularly goals 1 and 2 on no poverty and zero hunger. Joint research and outreach projects around these goals would go a long way in propelling Botswana towards significantly reducing poverty and hunger. Distinguished guests, as I pointed out earlier, Buang is currently developing a master plan to guide the development of its main campus at Mosepele. Following the completion of the master plan, there will be need to invest into putting the existing land into productive use to increase its commercial value. Therefore, we want to partner with the private sector through, among other models, public-private partnerships in developing productive enterprises. I believe that such initiatives will enhance partnerships between Buang and the private sector for mutual gain. We also seek to collaborate with public agencies, including parastatals, which are charged with the responsibility to promote Botswana's socio-economic development. Collaboration with these public agencies may be in many forms. Buang can, for instance, provide consultancy services to address development issues and advance development goals on behalf of government. Buang has developed competency and expertise through its consultancy arm, Buang Consult, to undertake such services. Public agencies can also provide funding for Buang to conduct research aimed at investigating issues of mutual interest. Such research, which should generate value for the funding agency, may be undertaken through engagement of graduate students. In summary, Buang can and is an implementing partner for development projects by public agencies, parastatals, and international development agencies. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, I want Botswana to be food and nutrition secure by leveraging on its agricultural and natural resources. I wish for Botswana to become a global player in the agriculture and natural resources space. I dream to see Botswana actively involved across the entire value chain of the agriculture and natural resources landscape, not only as producers, but also as entrepreneurs. My hope is that you all join hands with us at Buang to make all these real. We subscribe to this old African proverb which says, if you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to go far. It is my most profound honor and privilege that you made time to attend this breakfast meeting to facilitate this interaction and engagement. I look forward to robust engagements with yourselves moving forward from today. Thank you very much for attending this meeting. Pula.
Thank you, VC. That was a mouthful from his presentation, and I think I'm such a fortunate MC, I don't have to recap what he said. So I'm going to call upon Professor Seleka, who is our Dean, Faculty of Agribusiness, Education and Extension. He will come and break it down and lead the discussions for us. Thank you, Prof.
Thank you, Director of Ceremonies. Good morning, guests, ladies and gentlemen. Let me say all protocol observed. It would be suicidal to try to summarize the VC's speech. It was very rich, and I don't want to distort it. But what I can say is that he did two things. One, he shared with you Buang's vision. He also shared with you what he sees as plausible areas of collaboration between Buang and your individual organizations. He said that we have a common goal, which is to achieve national, regional, and international development goals. Therefore, given our limited resources individually, there's need for us to collaborate. We have areas of mutual interest, and we can enhance each other through collaboration. We can share resources, for example, physical resources, human resources, and financial resources. With that, now it's time to allow you to react to his talk by giving your comments, contributions, and even sharing what you yourself think are common areas of interest between your individual organizations and Buang. We have 55 minutes, so it's a long time. Everybody's going to have time to say what you want to say. So we have a roving mic. So let's get it started. Please say your name and your organization before you react. Thank you.
Good morning, Prof. Thank you very much. My name is Tawatamani, currently CEO of SIRA. First and foremost, let me acknowledge the invitation to this Buang Vision Sharing Breakfast meeting, and also give my sincere gratitude to Professor Mosepele's illuminating presentation. And I say it's illuminating because sitting here, I really appreciate the fact that for once the academia is coming to join the people on the streets. And with the greatest respect of those that came before you and the others, it is very rare that you often find an opportunity to be told what the roadmap is. And I've always spoken with my colleagues that if there's one thing that is common amongst all the academias, it is probably some commentary around political issues only. And where is commentary or interventions on entrepreneurship as an alternative to formal employment? And I think the roadmap you've outlined, Professor Mosepele, symbolizes your vision and desire to take, together with your management team, to take Buan to the next level. And I think, not necessarily speaking on behalf of my colleagues, but just to say we are ready to play a pivotal role. We are ready to support Buan's vision. And what you've said is very, very clear on what you want to do. What is very key now is implementation and follow-up on those issues. And I think, as early as next week, I'll be knocking on your door and direct me to the relevant persons. Thank you. Direct me to the relevant persons, because we've got products that are geared towards youth empowerment in agriculture and others. But we've seen mixed reactions in terms of performance of those particular products, largely because of the absence of probably research-led development of these products based on data, based on facts on the ground. So let me thank you very much. That was just my comment, and I'm really happy. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Let's have more comments. By show of hand, we have 55 minutes.
Thank you very much, moderator. Bruce, Prof, congratulations on a very inspiring vision. Certainly innovation and research-intensive university, very, very important, I think, to talk about that. But a couple of observations. First, I think, is the master plan that you talked, and you talked about the location. And you started by giving the historical background, where you came from and where you are today. So one of the questions that I had in my mind is Mosepele an appropriate location for an agriculture, natural resource university? Besides just the constraint of the city, and we can see the expansion of Gaborone North Block 8 into your spaces, but more broadly, I think it's a strategic issue for Botswana, whether we should be doing that master plan in the current location. But that's just a thought. I think coming to the subject of sustainability, when you talk to the various issues around natural resources, obviously you touch a little bit about ESGs, and clearly climate change and what is going to happen and so forth becomes one of the most important topics of our time. So when you look, when you mention the schools, I was wondering whether tourism and what should have been the priority in terms of the university. So I was really trying to say, what wonderful idea to have those schools, but hospitality and tourism, when I looked at the Botswana Agricultural College and I looked at a few other people and so forth in that space, so I was just as a feedback in my mind, maybe issues around climate and other issues, would have had a probability. My name is, by the way, Mosepele. I'm the governor at the Bank of Botswana, and so obviously it's appropriate to talk about financial sector development and financing agriculture. And we have done some work in terms of really what we see. And as a country, we have made these statements about the importance of agriculture and so on. But when you look at the entire balance sheet of the banking industry and try to find where agriculture is, either in the commercial banks or in the development financial institutions, there's nothing in the main. So the question that I had for you is that any thought in terms of how the financial sector can support the vision? I thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Batlali Fipale, and I'm from 91, formerly Investec Asset Management. For me, there are just 2 points that I would like to raise. Firstly, is just to commend the university for acknowledging the Form 3s and the Form 5s, that you are prepared to take them out of the streets and rechannel their energies and probably their talents. But one thing that probably because of my background as well, having worked with people who are due to retire or have retired, and even seen them post-retirement, is also in your statement or your mission to acknowledge that we have people who are retiring, and time and again they are taking large sums of money, they are throwing the money in the bush with the intention of investing, and they lack sufficient information around livestock rearing in various categories, in the various chain of agriculture. It does not necessarily mean that when one retires, time and again they must be buying a Boer goat or they must be buying Kalahari red. There are certain pockets that I believe we should, or you should actually look at and see how you can empower our people towards retirement. We should be having a school of agriculture whereby probably somebody is just about to retire within 12 months. They should be able to attend a short course, even in the evening or even on Saturdays, to empower them and ensure that when they go out, they're actually able to maximize on their money. Because these are the same people that can actually create employment for the unemployed youth with what they have. And then the second point for me is just to commend you. I've always been worried about that piece of land. I think currently you sit in a prime area now that is gathered, Gaborone North, Pakalani, they have all developed, even towards Rasesa, they have developed industries there. So the only piece of land that is big in Gaborone with a lot of value is that particular place. And I want to commend you that you have actually realized that. And I hope that you'll be able to get the best yield out of it, and you'll be able to form partnership with such people as CEDA. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Just next table. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Director of Ceremonies. My name is Stephen Bokhatsu. I am with FNB. Prof, thank you very much for your presentation as well. Let me acknowledge that this is indeed very informative and actually very encouraging. I have observed that 2 things happen to us as we get older. Now that I've crossed that 50-year age, 2 things happen. One, you tend to get closer to God and church, and because maybe the end is nearer. And the second thing is you begin to think a lot about agriculture. maybe because retirement is looming and you are wondering what is next. Like my colleague from 91 said, I'm also grateful that you have decided to tap into the minds of younger people from JC as well as from Cambridge, so that you're not catching us only as we get older. So well done, Prof. You have indicated a number of synergies that I also see between us in the private sector as well as Buan as an example, in the employment skill exchange. I think there are lots of opportunities for us, as I've previously indicated in our engagements, that we could probably collaborate in where we exchange or we avail some of the skilled resources in finance to agriculture, and Buan avails some of the people who can impart skills in agriculture in the finance space. We finance a lot of farmers, and I'm quick to acknowledge that we don't even know anything about farming, which is why we tend to cross the border to our colleagues in South Africa to assist in the assessment of some of these agriculture products. So I believe there's an opportunity for us to ensure that skills, both at Buan and in the private sector, particularly in banking, are availed for the benefit of this market. I have talked about youth empowerment, and I'm happy that we share a common link of wanting to empower young people in this environment, to ensure that the entrepreneurial skills and drive are harnessed. We are in a journey of shared value. Most organizations are in this journey called shared value. And I believe that with shared value, whose main aim is to take the community with you as you prosper, that there are many opportunities that we will be able to unlock. So I'm also making a commitment, Prof, that as early as before the end of this month, I as well would have sent a delegation of some of my colleagues to Buan to explore some of these synergies, so that we can come here maybe a year later and start talking about what we have achieved rather than what we are planning to do. So that is the commitment that I am making. I think the governor has captured very well my observation around the land, the large piece of land that Buan occupies, and whether that land is really suitable, given its close proximity, suitable for agri-development, or whether we can use that asset as a nation for something else. But I think Governor has put that question on the table. I just wanted to amplify it because he is my supervisor. My last comment is around your solar. I also notice that in front, as you go towards Pakalani on your left, you have these solar panels. Therein lies a great opportunity as well for us to collaborate, particularly given the challenges that the region is facing around the energy crisis, as well as the green agenda that's on the table for everyone. So in short, Prof, a very, very relevant presentation. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, here.
Thank you very much, Director of Ceremonies. My name is Miriam Maroba, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education and Skills Development. First of all, let me welcome you, Prof, to the Ministry of Education and Skills Development. I'm very excited about the roadmap you put before us this morning. And I just want to acknowledge about 2 or 3 points that you raised. First of all, being a research-intensive university, that's quite exciting. And my question here would be, let it not be just research for the sake of research. I usually have an issue with academics because they tend to be so research-focused in specific areas of interest. But we want research that can impact on our economy, can transform the lives of Botswana. So I really am excited about that area. Secondly, you did mention the issue of entrepreneurial drive, and that again is an area of excitement for us. And where we sit as the Ministry of Education and Skills Development, following the rationalization of the government portfolio and bringing all actors within the sector together, is for us to be able to see education as a continuum. There are ongoing reforms at basic education level, where, for instance, we are introducing multiple pathways to ensure that children, as they start the education system, may be well-grounded and focused on areas of strength, interest, and so forth. And I would like to really encourage you, as you are now a member of this ministry, to look at what is happening at basic education. I'd invite you to go to Moeng at the earliest opportunity and see the efforts that are being put in place as part of this new curriculum. And I also would like to invite you to Tonota College of Education, which is an agriculture-focused college training institution, which is not doing so well. And therefore, we need to look at how we can harmonize this. It saddens me when we see young people finishing even programs at Buang and then going into unemployment. There's really no need for that. And therefore, the entrepreneurial drive that you have brought in, we are very excited about that area. And I'm also looking at the area of collaboration with other universities, and once more reminding you that the rationalization of portfolios has also put emphasis on Buang, UB, and BUST coming together to review, align their programming, and make sure that we establish centers of excellence. So echoing the words that were mentioned by the governor, there's really no need for duplication, competition, and so forth, but true collaboration in the true sense, and making sure that we identify niche areas that can, we can convert into those centers of excellence. Thank you very much.
Let me allow the last, and then I will allow you to react, say, and colleagues from Buang to assist. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Master of Ceremonies. I hope my name is Botswana from BQA. And my question, anyway, the comment is that I just have to say, Prof, thanks a lot, and I'm going to be asking lots of questions around the qualifications that we bring to BQA. Because there's one thing that is lacking in those. I would like you to know that it's very important to be very wide in your thinking as an institution. Qualification frameworks, they really help us in the sense that they bring us closer to the world. We're able to port those qualifications, to transfer them anywhere in the world, to compare them with other countries. So once a student has had a qualification that is on the NCQF, then they're able to go anywhere in the world and continue their studies. More so, they earn credits with those. But one piece that I've noticed is that we are very low in qualifications on your main area, fisheries. We don't have much on those. And please, this is just my encouragement that natural resources, materials that come from the earth, the oil, the gas, the soil that we have, let's have programs on those areas because we don't really know much about our own. Even here as a Botswana, there are certain different parts of Botswana where you can find certain types of soils with different colors, but we really don't know our students. So make that attempt with the, as the university to really work together with the high schools so that it starts from that curriculum, for them to know that environment. Then they will better suit into the agric with the knowledge, understanding of what comes into that. So that's just my encouragement. We also need to open our eyes and have programs and courses on like oceanography, freshwater ecology. These are very important. Don't just think of we are in Botswana. I'm saying the NCQF allows you to go anywhere in the world. So you train your son and your daughter in those fields. They are going to go elsewhere in Botswana, in the world, and be able to apply themselves. So I think I would like to see more programs coming from these institutions that are so wide enough to transport Botswana into the world stage. Thank you very much, Prof. and your colleagues. You are doing a great job, but you need to move faster. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. At this stage, let me allow the VC to react.
But I think the only thing I can react to right now is to thank our stakeholders for the words of encouragement and support that I hear coming from the floor here. And the other thing is I realize there is indeed a lot of interest on this beautiful piece of land that Buang owns in the north part of this capital city. And I will let other colleagues respond or react to that. But what I can say is that the idea is not to turn that land into agricultural land. That's not the idea. The idea is to have mixed use commercial development of that land. And I think one other thing which I want to highlight is as a University of Agriculture and Natural Resources, what we want is to green our capital city. And that is part of climate change mitigation strategies. So that's what maybe for now I would say. But it's a beautiful piece of land, and we are looking forward to leveraging on its commercial value for the benefit of everybody, particularly Buang. As I indicated earlier, we don't want to depend entirely on government subventions. We know that the funding landscape is constrained, particularly now since we are in a new family. It's a big family, and we need to be innovative on finding ways and means of funding ourselves. We can't depend entirely on government for that. So this is what we intend to do. But I'll hand over to the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Finance and Admin to say one or two words on that beautiful piece of land, if you may.
Thank you.
Good morning, and thank you very much, Vice Chancellor. I was tasked to go and make thank you remarks, and I would suggest that let us leave it for those remarks, because in those remarks we will try to highlight what members have really come up with right now, that we are going to run with it. But I get the point. The relevant one to talk about the commercial interest of the university, but we can just assure you that we won't disappoint you. Our master plan is well packed, and it's going to respond to all those issues that you have brought to our attention. Thank you.
Thank you. VC, there was a comment about courses in natural resources, introducing more courses. Yes.
Oh, I think Prof. Madibela can respond to that. But what I can assure BQA is that the fisheries course is coming.
Thank you.
Good morning again, and thank you for alerting us on those issues. But like the VC has indicated, the fishery program is on the cards, and others on biodiversity and other natural resources. So we are trying to throw the net as far as possible on natural resources. But also, I think maybe let me take you also this opportunity about the land at Mosepele. Half of that land actually belongs to the Ministry of Agriculture. I wish they were here, but we are talking with them to see if actually we could inherit it, if they could allow us to actually put it on much better use, like the VC has indicated that we are planning for a mixed use of the land instead of solely agriculture. Thank you.
Thank you. While you are there, there was a comment on research for development rather than research for the sake of it. Can you comment on that one?
Yeah, this is a very interesting debate which even I had when I was just finishing my undergraduate. You know, somebody told me, oh, you're doing research, you know, you should do research for development. That's very pertinent, and I think at Buang, as the University of Agriculture, we deal with food. So I think at the end of the day, what we want to see is a plate on your table. So now if you do research for the sake of research, probably there will be no food or a plate of food on the table. So I think the type of research that we are encouraging our scientists to go through is that eventually we should see a plate of food on your table. Thank you.
Not putting you on the spot, one more. There was an issue about retiring people going to agriculture without experience, that they need training.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Actually, I had a master's student. Now he's doing a PhD. And I think he got this experience from his father, who was a retiree from the army. And I think when he was engaging, is very active young boy. And when he was engaging with his father and his father's friends, he actually noticed this issue. And he gave the proposal to us, which I think I will share with the VC, that if we were to catch these people before retirement comes in, and so that they can plan, and if they have to go to agriculture, you know, give them the skills. I think it's something that we should plan for at Buang, in addition to the Form 3s and Form 5s. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Another, I saw a hand here. I'm going to start here and then move. Oh.
I think it's also important to mention that, as I said, we offer professional courses, short courses at CICE. And some of those short courses are very, very relevant to folks who are retiring or nearing retirement, because we offer short courses in goat production, poultry production, crops, you know, the whole basket of short courses in agriculture. But of course the idea now is to expand those so that they also include the natural resources sector, because we are a university of agriculture and natural resources. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir. So we're going to start another round of comments.
Maybe, sorry, Prof. The only problem with the short courses is that they are done during the week. Right. So someone needs to get off work or whenever retiring to attend. So they need to be done during the weekend or in the evenings. I know they're there, but they don't suit me, and I'm near that retirement.
Thank you for the important feedback, Prof. Okay, we're going to start here and then move back.
Thank you very much. My name is Teboho Gidi from APSA, and thank you very much for inviting us to this event. It's great. It's very refreshing to hear the strategy. And secondly, also to congratulate Buan on the establishment of Buan Consult and Buan Enterprise Company. It will go a long way in accelerating the interventions and also relieving on unemployment more specifically. I just wanted to speak around the marketplace. We certainly focus on the aspect of establishing the university for what it can absolutely deliver from a potential perspective, but I think what we ultimately want to see is that beyond that it makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of uptake in terms of building sustainable jobs and equally employing more people. And when I consider our youth, or at least when I consider even myself, I know I certainly don't want to do what I've seen my parents doing. And constantly wondering how we refresh this view to appeal to a young person. A 20, 30-year-old today, when they look at what is being offered in the university, probably technology will play, or the availability of data will go a long way in demonstrating what the sustainable life of being part of this institution is going to be. And from a banking perspective, when we certainly look at how we fund agriculture, we see we're exposed to a lot more challenges because the opportunities are not too clearly defined. Equally, the marketplace, where to buy, where to sell, when the right time to expose of certain equipment, or how to buy second-hand equipment is almost unclear, to an extent where it needs to be aided by a lot more data points on the marketplace so that it makes sense, to an extent where we can see it as an end-to-end business from an ecosystem perspective. So my view is really there, and from a bank, certainly happy to assist in terms of what we see, but it's got to start from a point where the viability is built beyond just the university. And I know it sits outside of the university, but certainly I think Buan Consult can be tasked with that so that it becomes appealing and it can accelerate the intervention stated here. Thanks.
Thank you. Can you come here? You still have your comments? Yeah.
Thank you, Professor Seleka, for the opportunity. My name is Ishmael Joseph from Public Enterprises Evaluation and Privatization Agency. Let me thank you, Prof. Vice Chancellor, for the invitation. And also thank you for the elaborate presentation on the university's roadmap. You highlighted something that resonated very well with the current rationalization strategy of state-owned enterprises. And I'm glad the peers in your ministry also highlighted some of the areas that the priorities within that strategy, looking at rationalization of programs amongst the universities. And now that you are in that ministry, I believe the topic will be chewed far more than when you were outside. Yes, now you have left the Ministry of Agriculture, and I know that something that we debated for a long time, especially that following the formation of NARTI. NARTI was a product of our first rationalization strategy in 2009. And over these years, we really haven't had NARTI come to speed to the extent that we would have liked to see National Agriculture Research Institute as it was prescribed. And our question was, Buang seems to have prioritized this area of research in the same areas as they have been prioritized under NARTI. In fact, government did not approve our proposal, but it still stands because we had submitted the strategy anyway. But I'm glad your collaboration, you've highlighted that the collaboration between Buang and NARTI. And I believe it can go a long way towards optimizing resource utilization, and even maybe going to the extent of reaching something that one would dream of. I know that people talk about us retiring, but I can imagine seeing your interns in my farm, you know, contributing towards the actual production itself. I mean, if I can do internship in a hospital, why can't somebody learning in your institute come do internship in my farm? If it's a holding that is registered with BMC, it means it has to meet certain requirements. It can be assessed for that purpose, so that at the end of the day, there is actual sharing, and for us to actually see the need of employing people who really have the skills that are necessary in terms of that. So we stand here ready with the ministry. It's something that we spoke to Lima, your peers, in terms of working closely to make sure that the strategy, especially looking at, although it's on a long-term mission, but when it comes to the collaboration among universities, we stand ready to support the university in that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Yes, let's move backwards. This lady at the, oh, there's another one here. Oh, sorry, sir.
Thank you, Director of Ceremonies. I don't really have a question. I think I was just taking advantage of the proximity of the mic. VC, my name is Chose Mudisa from Stanbic Bank. VC, let me applaud you for a very inspiring and compelling vision. I think the roadmap is clear. Your message is very clear. You're ready to collaborate. And we believe if we can momentarily put aside our individual agendas and focus on the bigger picture, I think we can move, we have a chance to move this country forward. I'm particularly interested in the entrepreneurial drive. As Stanbic, I think 2 years ago, we set up an incubator to deliver on that, particularly two things: to drive the enterprise development and also create jobs. And I think there's great opportunity for us to partner with you on that third pillar. I'm sure before Retta, Mani, and Steve send their delegation, we'll also be there. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, let's go to the back and then we'll, yeah.
Thank you. Good morning. Gibijua Bane Maromong, I'm from Standard Chartered Bank. Prof, thank you very much for your presentation. Just a few quick thoughts. I'd like to challenge some of the thinking that I've heard in the room. You know, on the one end, we're talking about out-of-school youth and taking them through entrepreneurship. On the other end, we're talking about retirees and preparing them for agriculture. What about the people in this room? Why do we only view agriculture as a hobby until such a time as you retire? And I'd like to challenge that thinking, Prof, to say, how do we mainstream it such that it becomes a viable career option for me in my middle age, still active, having, you know, some form of income? And how do we change that thinking? How do we mainstream agriculture such that it's not an option for those who are either going out or coming in and unable to do other things? So I just wanted us to think about that a bit. From a Standard Chartered perspective, sustainable, and we have just launched a Greening Botswana initiative where we are trying to just plant indigenous trees across the country. Thank you for your partnership. We're already in partnership with you, Prof. And as we have said, we will continue to find other ways to mainstream this thinking around sustainability. A lot of the time when we talk sustainability, we really think at grassroots level. It's very difficult for me as somebody who's championing it at the bank to think about it because I don't have the information. So I'm really grateful that from your presentation, we will get the information. We will be able to be educated about the opportunities. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Baton Mguni, and I'm with Statistics Botswana. And let me join us really in congratulating Professor Mosepele for the very enlightening presentation. I just have a few comments and maybe one or two questions. I'll try to be speedy about it. Certainly, being from a data organization, I'll start with talking about data, just to say that, you know, agriculture, while its impact on the GDP is small and the intention is to grow it, it's a very important sector in many ways, but the data from that particular sector is very scanty indeed for a variety of reasons. So one is simply trying to encourage Buan really in whatever way it can to add to this in terms of possibly big data, satellite data around cattle, goats, you know, arable agriculture, whatever data as a learning institution, perhaps you can add to that. Of course, for now, for us as a national statistical organization, we do work with the ministry. Certainly, COVID-19 didn't help, but if we can get some collaboration from the university around big data, that would be very useful. The other thing is around tracer studies. I don't know how the university is doing in that, but tracer studies are very, very informative and provide very useful statistics. So I would encourage the university to expand on that. And then the other thing is just to add, in terms of what has been said, just maybe for one's education, I heard the Prof talking about tourism and other things, and my understanding is that the university I used to work for a long time, of Botswana, seemed to have gone big into that. So I was wondering, now that I suppose you are in the same ministry, I know that HRDC at some point was trying to oversee the rationalization. The question is, you know, is that being done in some systematic way? Because as some people have said, given the scarce resources, we shouldn't be competing. Maybe that. And then my last comment has to do with the land. I didn't know that part of it belonged to the Ministry of Agriculture, but my thinking was maybe we take some aspects of another campus to Mahalape, Yonea Bua, or maybe all of it. And then the university must build properties there and do some things which can then sustain it going forward. Just some suggestion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. We'll allow for the last two questions before we close. I get a Prof, due to the interest of time.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Two more
Okay,
comments.
thank you. Good morning. I guess I'm lucky since you're giving only two more people to comment. My name is Lesedi Modom Mopelwa from Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. I'd like to thank you very much, Prof, for a great presentation. It was straightforward and your vision is indeed inspiring. I was actually very happy to hear you talk about thinking of engaging those who were not able to, or who didn't get a chance to matriculate the Form 3s and the Form 5s. This is very encouraging. I would really like to see your institution, though, investing much more in practical activities, or should I say practical, your curriculum should be practical based than being theoretical. I'm saying this because, you know, I'm also one of Buan graduates. I don't know, maybe things have changed. I graduated almost 2 decades ago. I'm not saying that we did not have practicals, but I'm saying, like, especially for those who would have not completed their or who have not matriculated. So if you can ensure that, you know, your curriculum is practical based, and also, you know, consider exchange programs for them as well, that will be very much encouraging, I believe, so that when they come back from where they would have, you know, gained knowledge, they will be able to apply those practical skills. I think with that we'll go a long way as a nation if we have those, because you may note that many of our farm managers, they are degree holders from our neighboring countries, especially Zimbabwe. I believe it's like, we were wired to think that, after college or after university, we will be going to work in the offices. We are not really encouraged to graduate and to know that, we are going into the field. We are going to be farmers. I have said this in one forum that, when I was with the University of the Free State, some of my classmates, or most of them, they were actually studying to go and work in their farms or to assist their parents in their farms. If we can try, and inculcate that and encourage those who are joining the university to also think along those lines of, finishing, graduating, and going to work in the farms. Okay. In terms of partnership, there's a great opportunity between FAO and Buan, like you've alluded to issues of climate change, which we are looking into sourcing funds very soon, and we would like to engage with you and probably Nadi into developing, the best proposal that we can get to focus on areas of climate change and climate smart agriculture. The Italian government has already promised us that if we come up with that, we can get some funds. Okay, the most important one that I would like us to look into is having a long-term agreement with you. You may be aware of how much we struggle with getting consultants from the UN agencies. So your institution will be the best to come up with to sign long-term agreements that, we can be able to pride ourselves as the United Nations, because mainly we are looking into providing technical support. So if we can have that, we'll be coming to knock into your office soon so that we start this process of developing this long-term agreement with you to engage Buan, to mobilize knowledge and innovations that we normally struggle with. Yeah, that is all that I have.
Thank you. One more, the lady there is the last one. I'm sorry about this.
Dumelang Bet, my name is Mosepele from Nardi. Thank you, Prof. Mosepele, for such an inspiring presentation. As Nadi, I see great synergies between ourselves, especially in the area of animal production and health, crops, animal feed, agro-processing, biofuels, and climate change. And I also see great synergy in the area of academia, such as co-supervising students, sharing resources and skills. And as some of the participants have mentioned, we want to do a needs-based driven research, not research for the sake of research, to address the pains of our people, so that we see Botswana being a food and nutrition secure country. Therefore, I believe the conversations between our organizations will continue, because as Nadi, we are also committed to transforming the agricultural sector with partners such as Buang. And I don't see Buang as a partner. I see us coming from the same womb. So I believe we'd achieve a lot together. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to allow 2 more comments and then allow the VC also to react.
Okay, thank you. Quick one from me. I'm Mishak Tafa from the HRDC. I just wanted to also thank the professor for the illuminating speech. We didn't really know much about the university. Now we do. I would want to encourage something that we have noticed at HRDC is that there's usually very little collaboration between industry and institutions. That needs to change. Institutions get surprised when they have graduates who get unemployed because they don't know anything. The industry has not influenced the curricula. So it is very, very important that you develop, in fact, you should have a whole department that is looking at collaboration with stakeholders and in particular industry to influence the curriculum. Secondly is the issue of, in the curricula, there needs to be soft skills. We have people who graduate well skilled, but they don't have soft skills. I've done some research myself on issues. Why is it that we don't have products Botswana in the retail spaces? When you talk to these retailers, they tell you that Botswana, if they have a funeral, they don't supply. If they've got a wedding, they don't supply. And they cannot afford to have empty shelves. And that is why they would rather go for the big guys, where they have assured. And those big guys are corporates or companies where if the owner is sick or he's got a wedding or a funeral, the organization still runs. So those are some of the skills that we feel are very important. The next one is also handling produce. Nobody wants to go into a shop, an item like cabbage, that is dirty, that is not being cleaned up. So to me, those are soft skills where somebody just needs to understand the value chain, where it goes, what is important, how do you get your produce from the farm straight into retail space. And lastly, it's the value chain now beyond the, submitting to a retailer. Why is it that we're not developing processing of this type of foodstuff? There's a lot we can talk about, but I'm glad that you're in the same ministry. We'll share notes, Prof. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much and good morning. My name is Mbige Nyitaka. I'm here representing two organizations, Botswana Council of NGOs, as well as Botswana Agricultural Sciences Professionals Association, BASPA in short. It's an organization for all agricultural graduates in Botswana. I'm also an alumni of the university. I must say, VC, this is a very commendable move for you today to have engaged with stakeholders, because as an alumni, we had realized that there was a gap between the university and the industry. And this had caused that we have limited opportunities in the market as graduates. And I believe that from today, as other stakeholders have expressed interest to collaborate with the university, we will see a great acceleration in terms of creation of employment opportunities for us as graduates. And we must not also look into the junior school leavers as well as those who are retiring or those who have already retired. We need to find ways of creating opportunities for agricultural graduates, because we still have skyrocketing unemployment rates within the sector. And I believe that from today, as an organization, we will also be engaging with the university. And we have already resumed that process to ensure that we try to collaborate with Buan, to ensure that we have that common ground to transform the agricultural sector. I must say, VC, that we are also accredited with the Botswana Qualifications Authority to offer short courses. And this is one area of collaboration that I see very fit for us to collaborate in that area of interest. We also have capacity building projects that we are doing across the country. We are currently being supported by the French Embassy, as well as the New Zealand High Commission, to do capacity building projects in the Speedo region. And we will be willing to carry with us the Buan brand across the country as we go across the country. And we are also willing, VC, to collaborate on areas of research as well as SDG implementation, because we have the skills that we got from the university. And I believe it is time, VC, that we close this gap and collaborate. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Let me hand over to Bua, VC, or anyone from Bua who wants to comment.
I think at this point, Master of Ceremonies, the important thing is to acknowledge the comments and the questions that have come from the floor. and to indicate that, of course, we are now going to, this, as I indicated, is just a prelude for more engagements moving forward from here. So we are going to have robust engagements with all of you, and even those who are not here that we had invited. But some of the questions that have been raised here, the DVC FNA will respond to them in her remarks. And yeah, I think so that we don't take too much time of our important stakeholders here, I think let's do it that way. Yeah, but I'm happy with the feedback that we are getting from you. And I realize that, and I acknowledge that there's a lot of questions about hospitality and tourism, but it will be fixed. It will be fixed. Yeah, we just need to sit down with UB and Botswana Accountancy College and find a model that works for all of us, because we all approach this from different angles. So we need to find a way that works for all of us. I think that's probably one of the key items I highlighted, which excited a lot of discussions and debates from the floor. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, VC. Let me thank all of you for a very lively session and for your commitment to collaborate with Buang going forward. I think we have generated a lot of energy. We will live to expectation. So we are looking forward to further engagement. With that, let me hand over to the Director of Ceremonies. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prof. Seleka, for facilitating the discussions. Without wasting too much time, I would like to call upon the Deputy Director, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Finance and Admin, Mam Gadla, to come and give us a vote of thanks.
Good morning, Bahaitsu. Yakahulazuli Nalameki, Rebecca Mgada. Permanent Secretary to our ministry, Mama Roba, and fellow PSS or senior government officials which are here today. Representatives from our former parent ministry, if they're here today, Minister of Agriculture, executives from different industries, captains of these industries, representatives from international agencies here with us, Vice Chancellor, Acting Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic Affairs and Research, Buan colleagues here today, a very good morning to you. We have now come to the end of our deliberations, I suppose. Let me then take this opportunity to thank you all, our guests, particularly, for making time in your busy schedule to be with us this morning. Our peers, thank you very much for gracing this occasion. We thank you so much, most importantly, to your contributions, insights, and your lively participation this morning. A lot of issues that you have raised, fortunately, have been in our cards, so it shows that we are aligned. In my strong belief is that we are going to continue with more engagements from here and collaborate on more projects which will mostly align to the university pillars in the strategic agenda that our Vice Chancellor is working with right now. Yes, we had issues of research intensive. We have to be excellent in our academics. There is entrepreneurial drive, agile operations, because as a state-owned enterprise, we need to account. And coming to a new ministry, we need to demonstrate to you, peers, that we really value efficient operations. And it is inspired in our strategy. We would like to thank you, the Vice Chancellor, for sharing your vision and the roadmap with our guests. From here, we will know where you intend to steer the ship, and they will know how to approach Buang. And thank you very much for confirming that we'll be having more guests than we usually do. You are welcome to the university. And we also would like to thank you very much for committing to be part with us in our strategic direction. You have highlighted issues that are very critical to our agenda, one of them being the land issue. Yes, through the synergies identified, you indicated that we should put innovation and impactful research in the forefront of the collaborations. Thank you very much for bringing that to our attention, and it really affirms how we have been intending to work with you, even before we came here today. You also have emphasized the need to unlock commercial value through the master plan that the Vice Chancellor has indicated to you. I would like to take this opportunity, yes, indeed, to say, through appropriate structures, the university will soon be working with the private sector to implement its roadmap to get commercial value of this prime land. You are quite aware, colleagues, that being a state-owned enterprise, government has said to us that we really have to focus on the third stream income, because we cannot continue relying on government subventions. It is not sustainable. Government has to focus on other issues. As an university, we are assuring you that in our balance sheet, the land comes out very prominent, because, like you said, it's in a prime land. The university already has a special purpose vehicle, which has been working on this parallel when our master plan was being developed. So watch out the space. It is going to be a very fast-tracked program, and we'll be approaching you, and you will be approaching us as well through appropriate structures. The other thing that has been highlighted is that hospitality and tourism matter should be approached with caution to avoid probably duplicating resources within the ministry. That has been noted. You have also highlighted that we have to come up with enhanced products in financing agriculture and natural resources. The banking sector, we are welcoming you, and we thank you for your commitment. We've also heard that our initiative to taking Form 3s and Form 5s from unemployment, not from the streets, from unemployment, through innovative and technological developed products should be expedited, because it has been your concern. We have noted that. And all we are saying to you is that the 4 Bs of this world should come back. But they have to come back in a manner that is aligned to what we are doing. You have also indicated that we have to come up with very innovative courses for retirees, where we are all going. And we have to ensure that these retirees no longer take agriculture as a hobby. So that has been noted, and thank you very much for bringing that, because we also had that in our mind through our programs. You've also indicated that we have to create opportunities for skills and expertise sharing within the university, within the ministry family, and we have noted that. And then the entrepreneurial drive that we have come up with, especially it has to be blended through the multiple pathways that PS has talked about. We have noted that. We have also indicated that we have to identify the niche in areas that facilitates government rationalization initiatives that are now coming out. We have taken note of that because as we sit here, we have to make sure that we align our programs to emerging needs and be more innovative. And then the other thing is just what was talked about, that our contribution to the big data should be more pronounced. We should think about that, and the issues of tracer studies, we have noted that. And then the possibilities of partnering with international organizations through signing long-term agreements and mobilizing knowledge and innovation. We are very grateful for you to really highlight that, because that is what we really would like to see that happening. And lastly but not least, to providing soft skills that will add value to the value chain. That's what you have indicated. We are very grateful. We are working on that as well, and we shall make sure that it's part of our curriculum. And then, without taking too much of our time, because I have to thank you, but also to acknowledge what you have put across to us, to say, yes, indeed, robust engagements are going to come, like you have indicated, and we will be continuing to engage you as appropriate. And we thank you very much for coming, and we will welcome you through those formal visits that we are going to engage. And I think our PR office is here to take, even during the tea time, to take those who want to make appointments already. We are very grateful. Thank you very much for coming, and have a great day. Okay, I'm told I'm not only supposed to thank you, but also to invite you to Metsinyana Bahaitso. No, it doesn't matter. It's okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think the DVC has already closed up. As she's already mentioned, we have refreshments, and you can continue with the networking. Thank you.